Hey, it's me, AP, aka Mr. Movie Cheer, and welcome back to another episode. And on this episode, I will be discussing why I prefer my movie room to going to the cinema. So, versus going to the cinema, whatever you like. And what I will say today, this topic isn't anti going to the cinema, going to the movie theatre type of video. I don't want it to come across as that. I want it to really be more highlighting why now I prefer watching movies at home. I don't think this is new for me, explained on the channel as well, but I want to go into it in detail why I prefer having a movie room, a dedicated movie room, and watching movies in that movie room over taking a trip to the cinema to watch a film. So the first thing is comfort factor. So I've got my movie room set up. I've recently upgraded the equipment in the room I'm in, my movie room. So I've got a 4K OLED TV recently. I've got a 4K player. I've started investing in 4Ks and Blu-rays, which I didn't do previously. So first of all, it's having that. I've upgraded the gear. I'm getting a better setup, and also it's just the comfort, the comfort level of watching a movie at home. At home, you can grab snacks when you want. You can pause the movie when you need to go. You need to go to the loo, or you need to grab a snack, or something comes up. You need to pause a film. You can't do that at the cinema. That's what I really love, that comfort factor, just being able to just chill and just go with the flow. If you need to pause a movie, you need to nip the loo, you're not going to miss anything. You can just do it. You can go and grab a coffee at half time. An hour into the movie, you want to pause it, go and grab a coffee. You can go and do that. You can eat the snacks that are in your cupboards that you enjoy. Don't get me wrong, I know you can take them to the cinema, but you've got them right there. You can go and just have a little route around the shelves and find something. It's just a comfort factor. I'm not a big, I'm very introverted. I don't like big crowds as well. And just having, one thing I do not like when I go to the cinema is being around crowds, but also having people on the phone. So, when you're watching a movie and then you see in the corner of your eye a light going off and it's someone on the phone checking something, or you're hearing someone chomping on snacks, or chomping on popcorn behind you. You're like that. You're in the midst of a really detailed scene, a really important scene in the movie, and all you're hearing is it's like you've got the Cookie Monster behind you. You don't have any of that. I feel more comfortable getting rid of all that and just having my own room dedicated to where I can watch it, peace and quiet, no one around me talking. It's nice and chilled. It is the comfort factor, and the comfort factor is one of the biggest appeals to having a movie room, and why I very much enjoy it over going to the cinema. So, timeline of availability. What do I mean by this? What I mean is movies are coming out a lot quicker than they did many years ago. I feels like they've been fast-tracked a lot since the pandemic. 5 years ago now, they were releasing movies straight to video on demand, cutting out the cinema release. And it feels like over the past 10 to 15 years, but definitely the past 5 years, the process of them releasing movies has become a lot quicker. For example, I've got it here, the new Bob Dylan movie. You're looking at here, movies are going to physical and to home releases less than 90 days now. Years ago, I remember as a kid growing up, and if you're a similar age to myself, mid-30s, you would have, it was like a movie came out, cinema, and it felt like close to a year. It must have been 9, and maybe it felt like it was like a good few months, 6 to 12 months, not 90 days. No way. That time has been cut down. Because I remember it did feel like it was movies were at the cinema, and then it was months on end before you saw it in a video shop or seen it for home or release, and that time is gone now. We're past that 6 to 12 month waits for movies to be released at home. That time is gone. Like I said, it's less than 90 days now for the majority of releases. You've got here a complete unknown. So this is the Bob Dylan biopic. I've never watched this movie. Just to let you all know, I don't think it's one I'd go out my way to see, because I don't really like Bob Dylan. His music, it just doesn't appeal to me. Maybe I should listen to a Bob Dylan album. If you know a Bob Dylan album that you think I'd like, let me know. Leave it in the comments. and this is not an anti Bob Dylan video as well. I'll just say, I'm rambling. So it had here in the UK cinema release for a complete unknown new Timothée Chalamet movie. Cinema release was January 17th here in the UK. The video on demand release was, I believe, the 25th of February. So that is just over a month. You can rent it and buy it for video on demand. Then the physical release is coming up on April 28th, physical media release, DVD, Blu-ray, 4K. But the timeline of availability for watching it at home at least, not for physical, but we're talking about video on demand, it's just over a month now. That's just over a month to watch it at home. So there you go. It's getting a lot quicker. And then the physical release, like I said, you're not waiting 6 months. You're not waiting 12 months. You're waiting just over 3 months to watch it at home, physical media. That is the majority, and different films do differ from different releases. Bigger movies that make more at the box office will extend that theatrical release. But generally speaking, you're looking at less than 90 days realistically for it to be on some type of release from home, whether it's video on demand or physical release. So that process of releasing movies and going to home releases has shortened down significantly, and it is such a small period of time now. And we're also looking at as well, sometimes now they don't even go to the theatrical release, it's going to home releases straight away. For instance, the new Russo brothers movie, the guys who directed the last 2 Avengers movies and are doing the new ones, they've had this new one with Chris Pratt coming out recently, and I forget Millie Brown from the Stranger Things show, and it's this movie called Electric State. I've not seen this movie yet. It's not had great reviews, but I will definitely be checking out because I like weird sci-fi movies. But that's went straight to Netflix. It skipped the theatrical release, went straight to Netflix, and there again, it's straight to your home release. It's not physical, but it's went to streaming straight away. The way the timeline of availability for movies is changing, and releases are done different ways now. Like I said, you get some straight to streaming networks, some with a very short release, but none are really going for long releases now. You're not waiting for a long period of time to see that movie. And with me, that creates, and maybe for yourself it's similar, but it doesn't. A movie, I won't rush to see a movie at the cinemas, at the movie theatres anymore, out of fear of plot spoilers. It's very rare that there's movies that come along like that. I'll be honest with you, the last couple of movies, it used to be the Marvel movies, but now the Marvel movies, I kind of skip a lot of them and I'll watch them at home release. If I hear a plot spoiler or if I see something on YouTube, it really doesn't bother me as it used to maybe 10, 15 years ago. But it used to be like Star Wars, hearing a spoiler from that. I think I'd still get like with certain movies, but the majority, I'd say the best majority of the movies now, I'm really not bothered if someone spoils it for me. I'll happily wait to see it at home because I know it's not going to be a long period of time before it's hitting the home release over the cinema release. So looking at that timeline of availability, it is such a shorter period than it was many years ago. Re-watchability at home with physical media versus buying a cinema ticket. I think for me, this is another point of why I prefer watching movies at home in my movie room, is the rewatchability. And I'm talking about buying movies on physical releases, whether it's DVD, Blu-ray or 4K. Now, I'll be honest, I have a local cinema and then I have another one that's maybe a bit further afield than town. So we've got one in the town where I live, and then a town further on, there's a Cineworld. So I've got a local cinema and then a bigger one. Generally, if I'm going, majority of the time I go into this cheap cinema where it's maybe less than a £5 a ticket if you go between a certain hours. So it's pretty cheap, but then sometimes I'll go Cineworld where sometimes my friend who has like a pass, he'll get me in on Wednesdays for free, or sometimes I'm paying full price if I go to Cineworld occasionally. But I can do that, or I can spend and invest the money in physical media. So I can go out and buy a 4K or a Blu-ray or a DVD, and even if I'm looking at buying, say, a 4K, 20 quid, and it's a movie, for me, if I'm buying physical media, I'm buying movies that I'm going to watch over and over again. It's got to be something that I really do enjoy. It's not just buying every single movie. I've got a small collection behind me. I only want movies in the collection that I really do get a lot of benefit from, that I enjoy. So I get more joy with investing the money in the movies and physical release over spending £5 or £10 on a cinema ticket. I just think it's more valuable because I'm getting that rewatchability and watching it over and over again. I've got it in the collection. If at any point in the future I decide to get rid of it, and if it's still got some value, I can always sell it anyway. But I don't really look at things like that. But you've got that option if you are that way inclined. You like to sell your collections. But I think it makes more sense to me. In my head, I'm always looking at like finances, and I like to, if I'm very much like very frugal, I would say. I like to save money when I can. And when I try and look at it long term like that, and I'm like, long term, man, I could go and see this movie at the cinema, or I could buy it next month. I'll probably enjoy this movie. Buy it in a month's time on physical media, and I've got it there forever. And that's the way I look at it. I look at it the rewatchability and the money, a bit of the money you're putting in, and the long term investment into that movie. And it just wins every time to buy it on physical over going to the cinema and seeing the movie at the cinema. So another reason why I enjoy watching movies in my movie room over the cinema are, for me, because the cinema spark has been lost. What do I mean by that? I think when I was a kid, you go to the cinema and it was such an exciting experience. You're seeing it on a big screen, and I think because growing up, the TV screens at home were so much smaller than they are now. The quality was obviously it's vastly different than it is now. The screens we're watching at home nowadays are such great quality. Some people have huge screens at home, and for me, I think the quality what I'm watching at home is just as enjoyable as watching it on the big screen now, and it doesn't feel such of an attractive proposition going to the cinema. It's not like this big thing anymore, like where you're going to just a standard cinema where it's an experience. I think you maybe get that more when you go to like an IMAX or something. You do get a different experience, but when we're talking about standard movie theatres, you're not getting that spark for me. That cinema spark has been lost. I just prefer it watching in the movie room. I think there's less big movies that are going to the cinemas that really pull me in. Like I said, big event movies like your Avengers, they come around every couple of years. But in all, there's not many movies I'd be like, you know what, I really fancy seeing this at the cinema. Majority of the movies I'm happy to just wait for home releases of. So, like I said, that spark has been lost from when I was a child. That spark and that cinema experience has definitely been lost over the years. And I think a lot of people probably feel a similar way to myself, where, like I said, as a kid, you had small screens at home, and then the cinema was like this big, huge thing. And especially when you're a kid as well, everything seems bigger than it is. Everything's larger. But when you're an adult, I don't know, it kind of just feels less as an exciting, appealing thing to go. And definitely the magic of the cinema has been lost, that cinema spark. I get it occasionally. The last time I really got excited, and I think again it's down to the releases of the movies. It's the Avengers movies. I always get excited for them to see them. The last two were amazing. And Star Wars: The Force Awakens, I was really excited to see that at cinema. So excited. That's where the spark was last there for me. And it's rare that I find it with a lot. When I go to the cinema and see certain movies, I enjoy watching movies, but I don't get that spark that I'm looking for and the excitement. And it does feel like it's gone just in general across the board with the cinema going experience for myself. So another thing I look at is the time it takes. I work from home a lot. I have like a home office-based job at home. If I want to go to the cinema, say, look, if I finish at 6 p.m. maybe, and the show ends at 7 o'clock, I've got to, finish from work, get in my car, drive out, go to the cinema, sit in the cinema, get the tickets, sit down there, and then watch through the advertisements, the trailers, which I've seen 20 times over now with YouTube, and then then I got to watch the movie, and then I got to drive back home. And yeah, you're probably saying, look, AP, you are lazy. And yeah, I am lazy. I just like the appeal that I can finish work and finish whatever I'm doing and straight away grab a movie from the shelf behind me, put it on in the movie room. Hey presto, the movie watching experience has begun. And it really just cuts out a lot of that time, and that's another reason, another factor as to why I really do enjoy watching movies at home over the cinema. So I just want to round this up really. Final conclusion on this. Like I said, this is not an anti, going to the cinema type of video, and I don't want it to come across as that, because I know a lot of people in this community who still enjoy going to cinema, and that's great, and I'm still going to go to cinema as well for special movies, but like I said, I just prefer the movie watching experience at home in the movie room. I prefer having a movie room now, a dedicated movie room, and just having that space where I can just enjoy my movies at home and watch the movies in the comfort of my own home, feel comfortable. And it's I think there's more points nowadays, for me anyway. Look, everyone's different. I appreciate everyone's opinion, but I think there's more positives to watching movies at home or we're going to the cinema. But it's one of them where I really would like your feedback on this. And how do you feel about this topic? Really, are you similar vibe to me, or do you feel differently? You still enjoy the cinema going experience? Maybe you've got like one of the cards, the unlimited cards, where you go regularly. I've never been like that. I don't think I've ever really been a regular cinema goer. I've never been one who's going to cinema every single month. And maybe that's why I feel differently about it, because I've never been that kind of guy. I do go to cinema a couple of times a year, but it's never been one where I'm going month after month after month or week in, week out. So even going month by every couple of months like I said, the appeal's just not there for me anymore. It's always, for me, the appeal is, buy a movie on physical media or stream a movie, watch it from home. And I much prefer doing that as a film in this video in 2025. So yeah, let me know all your thoughts on this topic, folks. If you enjoyed this video today, please do give it a like and leave a comment below with your thoughts, and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed to. And let me know your thoughts, like I said, on all of this topic today, your different thoughts, your feedback on this. What do you think? Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer, and as always, I will see you next time.